still have time in 5 minutes more.
Yeah, maybe
And slowly
want to talk to Faster's guest. You may, Faster, talk to your guest first because we still have time.
No, it's okay. They just took leave and that's all. They are helping to build a greenhouse here.
Oh,
So we will cultivate our own food. That is like idea of an old Chinese man, cultivate his own food and live in nature. And so
self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, or self-sufficient is impossibly, but at least partly self-sufficient, no?
Yeah.
And the own grown food, it tastes quite different. It is than the supermarket food.
Yeah. Global ourselves is an organic one.
Yes, but now we are becoming a chemical and uh, material substance, and in living in material society, what to do? So let us open. I will close the mobile so that nobody can call me, and I open the text. Oh, okay. So I have got the text and I am more or less ready. We have 2 minutes.
Yes, tomorrow you will go to Germany, right?
No, I go to Slovakia.
Oh, Slovakia. Okay. So
Germany.
we here in Indonesia, next week we also have a few event like Baisak, and then also a few friends also have a weekend retreat with Ajahn Brahm. So perhaps our
So
class.
we cancel next week, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps.
So let us cancel next week. What is the after that? What date is that?
Perhaps the Sunday on 19.
Sunday, May 19, yeah?
Yes. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. I have to, Monica, just a minute, huh?
Okay, no problem.
She has the 19. můžu učit, příští týden jsem to zrušil a 19. můžu učit.
Toho května?
No.
Já myslím, že večer by se to málo stihlo.
A co je?
Sampai bukannya 2 minggu lagi, Pak.
2 minggu lagi,
ya.
23, tanggal 23.
So if
19 loh.
Minggu depan itu nganu, Pak.
12.
Kenaikan isal masih, Pak.
Iya, 12. Minggu depan kan 12. Kalau 2 minggu lagi tambah 14, hari ini tanggal 5 toh. 19.
19, Pak. 19.
Iya. Ya, 20-an ya, Pak.
Una, hello.
19 kan persis sih.
Hi, Bante.
So
19 is Sunday.
Yes.
19 would be possible a little later. Is it okay? A little later?
Say again, Fasa.
Maksudnya lebih malaman.
Hodin by to šlo?
Já myslím, že
what is the convenience time for Bante? On the 19th, what is the convenience?
So how about instead of, because she has a exhibition in one town, and I promised to give a lecture because she's doing religious painting, and that is about 160 kilometers from here, and we can finish in the morning. Is possible?
So if it's too tight for you,
so let us start 3:30 or 3 o'clock. What would be the Indonesia time?
okay, Pastor.
Is possible?
Yes, okay, Pastor.
3:30.
Yes, okay.
That would be Indonesian time 8:30. It is not too late to 10 o'clock.
Okay, no problem.
It's okay.
Pastor. Okay.
So let us make it. Let us make it 3 o'clock so that it is easier
Yes.
for you. We will
Okay.
have a good excuse to disappear. Huh? So 3 o'clock would be Indonesia time.
8 p.m.
8. That's all
Yes.
right. No, 8 to
Yes, okay.
9:30. So
Okay,
there
Pastor.
may be some early sleepers like myself, and so it's still okay.
Yes, Pastor.
8 to 9:30, huh?
Yes. Good.
Okay, Indonesia time, okay, our time 3 o'clock to 16:30, huh? 16:30, yeah?
So finally, Monica do the religious painting.
Yes, she does you can look at her painting. She has a website. I can give the information.
Send me, please send me.
And
info.
she is doing the painting and I do the poems, no? On so we are collaborating together, paintings and poems. Like this.
Oh.
And this is my poem, and this is her painting. And so we have like this.
So congratulations, Monica.
Yeah, she does some very good paintings of the medicine Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, Samantabhadra, and all kinds of bodhisattvas, and also some the nature scenes, and also something about the love and compassion.
And you write the poem in Czech language, or
Yeah,
in Slovak,
because
or in Czech, or in Chinese calligraphy.
we are my beak has grown in Czech, so I do just the parroting Czech is best because my beak is in Czech. So especially living here in Czech, so it's good. It's more natural to use the the language in which we are brought up. No.
Have you ever met?
Okay, so
have you ever met Red Pine, Pastor?
Who?
Red Pine.
Who is that?
The American
translator.
Books
translator.
The one that pioneer books about Chinese, like Cold Mountain, and then Road to Heaven, and also translate a few of like a Diamond Sutra and Platform Sutra.
What is his name again?
Red Pine. His writer name is Red Pine, but his real name is perhaps Bill Porter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I might have come across his translations, but I'm not familiar. But anyway, he's American, no?
Yes, I just saw in the YouTube last few years he make a film about hermits in Songnan Mountain
Ah,
in
yeah,
Chinese.
the one who made yes, of course I know. He lived in Taiwan. I know him.
Oh, yes. His wife is Taiwanese.
Yes, he lived in Taiwan and he wrote this book on the hermits in China.
Yes.
Yes, and he speaks very good Chinese and even some Taiwanese he can speak. Huh? He's only a Westerner I have heard about who has learned the Taiwanese language. And he traveled extensively in China at the time when it was still not so tough, so rigidly controlled. Yes, I know him, of course, but I don't know his artistic name. I only know his book on the Chinese hermits. It's a very good book, amazing, very inspiring.
You can
So let us
also
start.
okay, Pastor. You can also look at watch at YouTube now, Pastor.
He has some good programs. Huh?
He has some documentary.
Uh-huh.
Later, I will
And
send
what
you
is
the.
it?
Later, I
Please
will
send
send you
me
the
the
link.
link. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly
Thank you.
about hermitage.
Yes, he has traveled very extensively and also interviewed some Taoist hermits.
Yes. Okay, let's
So
start, Pastor. Thank you.
let us start.
Yes. Johan,
So we are.
direkam, Johan.
Oke, Pak. Udah, Pak.
So we have finished with the part which explain since this suchness is has no images, has no names, has how do we approach it and how do we actually realize it or attain it? We have finished with that part, right? You remember, huh? So so we can attain it, and this is very important, actually attain it by no thinking. So no thinking is a very important experience, and we should know that the suttas and the early Buddhist scriptures, also in Sanskrit, they emphasize the importance of the differentiating wisdom. And the panya in Pali or pragya in Sanskrit is defined as the purely differentiated wisdom. If you read Visuddhimagga, in Visuddhimagga there is a passage where the it is explained that wisdom is a process. It starts with perception, sanya, and sanya is compared to a small kid seeing a silver piece on the street and collecting it, knowing that it is good for the adults. So this is sanya. We start the process of wisdom by perceiving. Then next one is the vijnana. Vijnana means the consciousness, differentiating consciousness. So he knows that this shining piece, silver piece, is very good for the people collected, adults collected. So he brings it to his mother. The mother looks at it and say, "Oh, this is 1 silver rupee." And I can buy so much atta, so much flour, I can buy so many vegetables, and I can buy so many fruits and so many things. She knows exactly because she's a good manager of the house. And but she does not know the actual value of this coin. So if she wants to know the actual value of this coin, she brings it to the minter. Huh? In old times, they were putting the stamp on the silver, like to make it the currency. Huh? And so the one who put the stamp on the silver, he then takes this coin and bites it and plays with it and scratches it with his nails. And so then he establishes, put it on the in fire and establishes exactly its value, how much silver, how much other the other metals, if it is pure silver or if it is polluted silver. He knows exactly, so he can determine the actual value of the coin. So this is wisdom. So he will say there is this so much percent of the silver, so much percent of iron, bronze, and so on. And that is compared to wisdom. So basically it means that wisdom is differentiating exactly the content of our experience. So this is called in Theravada Buddhism, in Abhidharma Kosha also, the objects of wisdom. We are living this life, so to say, confronted always with concepts like a table, car, house, and we think always in terms of the concepts. But when we break these concepts, they appear as not being real, and that is wisdom. So it is basically differentiating wisdom. Now we come to Mahayana, and Mahayana is a non-dualistic teaching. And all the means of Mahayana are the means to realize the non-dualistic wisdom. So all the differentiations in Mahayana, they are taught for the sake of realizing that which is beyond differentiation. So the Pragya Paramita Sutras say that actually no matter if what Buddhism you study, in order to get realization, you need the great wisdom, and the great wisdom is beyond differentiation. So that means that no matter you study Vipassana, you study Zen, you study Tantra, your realization is based on non-differentiation, not on differentiation. You only use differentiation to come to non-differentiation, to oneness. So our scripture starts with the very important thesis that the Dharma is one mind. One mind is only one. And from the point of view of one mind, everything is in one mind. Everything is in this principle of suchness, which is inseparable from oneness. Understanding suchness, understanding emptiness, is understanding the, so to say, that from which everything comes and to which everything returns. Now, as we know, the biggest issue in Buddhism and in its discussion with other religions is the continuity. Everything is impermanence. Without everything, our experience is all impermanence. But then impermanence means appearing and disappearing in each and every moment. Then how to explain continuity? This is a very important issue. Every Buddhist tradition has a different explanation, and this explanation has to do with what we have explained as the essence of Buddhist teaching, the dependent origination. The continuity has to be linked to dependent origination. Everything which arises has causes. In Theravada, that which disappears also disappears due to causes. So the Visuddhimagga explains. The Abhidharma Kosha explains that everything that appears due to causes, but disappears naturally. At the very moment it arises, it disappears. So the analysis of the mind is different. As you know, the analysis of the mind is then analysis of the mental processes. The jhana is a special mental process. The realization is also a special mental process. The contemplation of the objects of the five senses is a special mental process. The contemplation of the mental image is another process. Everything is a mental process that we experience. And this mental process in Theravada is based on the bhavanga. Bhavanga means the cause of existence. This cause of existence explains the continuity in Theravada. The mind, active mind, arises from this bhavanga and disappears into bhavanga again, and again appears and disappears. And the mind with which we are born, and which explains the continuity, and with which we die, is also bhavanga. So we have three bhavangas: bhavanga of birth, bhavanga of continuity, and bhavanga of death. The bhavanga of arising is called sandhi. The bhavanga of continuity is the continuity, santana. And the bhavanga of death is called chuti. Now we are coming to the interpretation of dependent origination based on the Buddha nature. This Buddha nature is also called the Tathagata Garbha, the matrix of Tathagata. This is a base for the Tibetan tradition, the Tantra. This is also very important for Zen and for most of the Chinese traditions, except the Chittamatrata, which Xuanzang has brought from Nalanda to China and propagated in China. All Chinese traditions, beside this Cheng Wei Shalun tradition, all refer to the Tathagata Garbha, also Tiantai, also Huayan, also Zen, Chan. And Tibetan Tantra, of course, is also unthinkable without the Tathagata Garbha. Now the Tathagata Garbha is actually not different from the one mind. We will come now to the section after explaining the mind as suchness, which is ungraspable, unspeakable, without images. Then we explain the one mind, we explain our experience only on the base of the impermanent mind. This is very important to understand. We can only approach the highest which is here suchness, which is here the oneness, which is here the one mind. We can only approach it through the impermanent mind. We cannot approach it through the that which has no name, has no because we need, in order to meditate on it, we need wisdom from hearing. Wisdom from hearing is also this impermanent mind. Wisdom of contemplation is also impermanent mind. But then these wisdoms, if you want to work with what makes us liberated, is of course awareness. Awareness is synonym of wisdom. We need awareness, but this awareness, then when it becomes samadhi, this samadhi depends on how we use the wisdom from hearing, wisdom from contemplation. According to that, then we meditate. And when we realize the liberating wisdom, we must combine shamatha and vipassana into one. This is in all Buddhist traditions. Only by combining shamatha and vipassana into one, we can break through the illusion. We can wake up from the dream, the dream of existence. What is the meaning of the existence? A dream. Dream has not any fixed meaning. When we awaken, now we are talking about one mind. When we awaken from the dream, the mind which awakes from the dream is the same mind. It's still one mind. And the mind in dream is still one mind. And the mind sleeping is still one mind. So all that we need actually to understand the meaning of our experience is to understand this one mind. This is here Dharma. And this Dharma indeed is the matrix of Tathagata. Now, in order to understand it, this one mind, we cannot use the mind as suchness, the essence of the mind. We have to use the manifestations of the mind. And these manifestations of the mind, or the characteristics of the mind, in this tradition, it is the alaya. By intermediary of the alaya, we then understand our experience. And alaya is the mind, we have explained, is the mind which dwells. The mind which dwells is alaya. When we become Buddhas, even the Arahat, he has no dwelling in the world. So he is a Buddha because his mind does not dwell. But how to understand this mind which does not dwell? Well, we have to investigate where this mind which dwells, where it comes from. And this is what we are going to learn now. We have to come to the origin of the mind which dwells. So the essence of the mind in the scripture, this suchness, is compared in the scripture to wetness. Wetness is always there. It is the nature of all the phenomena, whether the water is still or whether the water is moving, it has always just one characteristic, which is wetness. It cannot lose, as long as there is a water, it cannot lose this characteristic of wetness. But the water is compared to this Tathagata Garbha, to our Buddha nature. This Buddha nature moves according to the scripture due to the wind of ignorance. And we identify with this wind of ignorance, and we think that it belongs to some to something, to some real phenomena, to some real person. That's why we have clinging, because we don't understand the dependent origination. So this dependent origination starts here with this Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata Garbha is like water. No matter whether there is a wind or no wind, if there is a wind of ignorance, this water is moving and making waves. But these waves, they are due to the wind of ignorance. But they do not appear in wetness. The wetness does not move. They appear in water, which is moved. That water which is moved due to ignorance, but yet its very nature is suchness which does not move. This is compared to alaya. Alaya combines the waves. They are like the function. The water is like the characteristic, and the wetness is compared to the essence. So the essence remains the same, but the characteristics change due to the wind of ignorance. We have had before, if you still remember, the three is very important: the essence, the characteristics, and the functions. Now, we cannot understand, we have learned the reality through the essence, because essence has no name, essence has no picture, essence has no anything we can name or grasp. That which is nameless, we cannot grasp, we cannot think. We need something to hold, some picture to think. But it has no picture. Similarly, wetness is very abstract. The wetness is there, but it does not move. We cannot catch the wetness. We can catch the water, and the water has no characteristic of moving, but it moves because of the wind of ignorance. And this wind of ignorance is a function also. Without this function, we cannot catch the real nature of our experience. We have to see very clearly this function, how our mind moves, because we want to grasp it. When we don't think, we are not grasping the mind. When we grasp the mind, we are thinking and we are differentiating. But nothing is wrong about the differentiation, about the thinking. There is no problem. The problem is the holding to the thinking. We are not bound by thinking. Thinking is also the function of water. Like waves are also, when there is a wind, the waves moves. But in order to understand that which does not move, we have to know that which moves and which changes the qualities, the characteristics of the water, but its essence can never change. So we cannot approach the essence by thinking, but we can approach it by understanding the characteristics of the essence and the function of the essence. We had it also in the beginning, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Buddha is the essence, Dharma is a function of the essence, and the Sangha, the Dharma is the characteristic of the essence, and the Sangha is the function of the essence, no? By which the essence is manifested by words, by explanation, and so on. So here we come to the similar idea. Let us see. We have learned that we realize the suchness only by not thinking. But it does not mean when we do not think that we immediately understand the suchness. But when we do not think, we start to understand that these characteristics and the functions, they come from the substance, which is suchness. Is it clear? This is very important. There has to be some characteristic and there has to be some function in order that we understand the substance. We cannot understand the substance as such. We can only understand it by intermediary of the functions and of the characteristics. And the characteristic is compared to water, and the function is compared to ignorance. So actually they are together. We do not want to remove ignorance. We want to understand the ignorance, how it changes the nature of the water, which is the matrix of the Tathagata, in which our experience meet. So let us see the text. I will So the text says, we have explained the mind which does not, which is suchness and which is always same like wetness, and which has the aspect of emptiness, real emptiness, and real non-emptiness. If it has only the aspect of emptiness, emptiness means zero. But it has also the aspect of real non-emptiness, because from this zero, like from zero come all the mathematical calculation, from this understanding of emptiness come all the virtues, because all the virtues depend on wisdom. And wisdom is based on understanding the oneness of our experience, which is conditioned by the emptiness, which is the essence of everything we experience. So this is why it starts with a very important sentence: that which arises and passes away. That means that which the impermanent mind, the samsaric mind, it depends on the Buddha nature, on the matrix of Tathagata. If there is not this matrix of Tathagata, then we cannot explain this nature of this emptiness, of this arising and passing away. And essence has no meaning without characteristic and without function. So as soon as we have the mind which arises and passes away, it has to arise and pass away in on the base of something which is because everything is in a dependent origination, dependent on something else. That which arises and passes away must be dependent on something which is by its nature is not even so we experiencing with arising and passing. It is not of the nature of arising and passing away, because everything is related. This passing away, arising and passing away must be related also to something which in its nature is not passing and arising, and that is this one mind. So as we have learned, when we understand this the situation of non-thinking, then we have approach, and we have then also possibility for realization of this one mind. Realization of the one mind is realization of wholeness, and the wholeness is based on emptiness. We realize a wholeness through emptiness, but emptiness cannot mean annihilation. If emptiness means annihilation, then it is not dependent origination. Emptiness necessarily must mean annihilation as related to something which is not annihilated. And that which is not annihilated, that is this suchness in beings. And this suchness in beings is called the matrix of Tathagata. And this matrix of Tathagata, according to the Mahayana scriptures, like Lankavatara, is this suchness of beings is circulating, is transforming in the 6 realms of existence. Wherever there is a mind, there are realms of existence. In these realms of existence is transforming this suchness in the human beings, which is the true nature of the human beings, or of all beings. So the true realization is the realization of this suchness in human beings, which circulates due to our non-understanding of dependent origination, which is circulating But this circulating is not, is like a dream. And a dream, we cannot say that it exists, but we also cannot say that it does not exist. This is the paradox of our existence. We cannot say that it exists. We cannot say that it does not exist. It is unthinkable. It is ungraspable. And that which is unthinkable, that which is ungraspable, that is a one mind. That is the base for Dharma, we have learned. Are we getting some clarity? This is rather complicated, and we have to give it a lot of thought and a lot of meditation. So, in other words, in order to get a complete, perfect realization, we have to go back to the arising of the mind. This arising of the mind is then realization of the essence from which everything arises. But this essence, we cannot, like wetness, we cannot grasp. What we grasp is the water. What we grasp of this essence are its characteristics, which is our Buddha nature. From the point of view of this Buddha nature, we are same like the Buddhas, no difference. But our Buddha nature is clouded due to these winds of ignorance. But these winds of ignorance, this is a non-dualistic teaching, you cannot remove, you have to penetrate. Penetrate by understanding the process of thinking. The process of thinking is the process we will learn, it's coming now, is a process of arising. Whatever arises must stand. Whatever stands then is subjected to impermanence, and what is subjected to impermanence must cease. So we have 4 periods of everything that arises. Yes, 4 characteristics. That is same in Theravada, same in Mahayana Buddhism. These 4 characteristics characterize everything in our experience, what we can grasp. What we can grasp by thinking. But in the non-thinking mind, these 4 characteristics, they exist together. They exist together. They are not separated. It is our thinking which makes them separated. And through thinking we are bound. Through thinking we are also liberated. But the thinking is inseparable from the body. We are bound by thinking. So also we have to understand that this thinking by which we are bound is bound to the body. And what is bound to the body makes us bound to the sensations. And what makes us bound to the sensation is this differentiating mind. And this differentiating mind then, when we hold to it, we suffer. When we don't hold to it, we can go beyond suffering. So this is a Chitta Matrata. It is a philosophy of one mind. Everything is a mind. But everything is what mind? Is this is only one mind. And one mind is a true mind. That mind which divides is not a true mind. It is a dream, and we have to go to understanding this one mind which hold to differentiation as being a dream. Then we can relax. No stress. Now we are in stress because we don't understand this mind which divides as being one mind, no? In which the arising, the uh, continuity, impermanence, and cessation appear at the same time. According to Theravada commentaries, our mind process is like you throw a stone into the sky. It flies up as long as it has energy. This is arising. Then for a short moment, imagine, almost impossible to perceive. It stands in the air and then it falls down. That is impermanence. And then when it lands, it is the end. And so this mind appears from the bhavanga in Theravada and returns to the bhavanga, which is a continuity of the mind. Here it appears from the alaya and returns to the alaya. But when the mind does not dwell, so it arises, passes away, but without dwelling. So the essence, characteristic, this is Chinese philosophy, and the function come as one. And similarly, the arising, the standing, the impermanence, and cessation come as one. And all this appears in one mind. This one mind is our Buddha nature. It is same with Buddha, same with us, only the difference is that the Buddhas, they're not deluded. We are deluded because we don't see our own nature, which nobody can take from us. It has always been there. No cloud of ignorance can deprive us of our nature. But we hold to it because we don't understand that it is not different from suchness. So let us go back to the text. So this mind which appears and disappears, the samsaric mind, because we cling to it, we are living in the world, we have alaya, as opposed to Buddha, whose alaya becomes the universal wisdom, the great mirror wisdom in the Yogacara Xianzang's tradition. When alaya transforms to wisdom, it becomes the wisdom of the universal mirror. It only reflects and does not dwell. Just facts. So if because of this Buddha nature, there can be this samsaric mind. If there is no Buddha nature, this samsaric mind does not have any meaning, because the always something that arises and which passes away is in compare with something which has no nature of arising and passing away. Dependent origination. Otherwise, there's no question of it's pure nihilism. If everything is just arising and passing away, then what is to be why to be motivated for anything? We are motivated because we understand that this samsaric mind is in relation to that which whose essence is not arising and passing away. Then arising and passing away has can be explained because everything is related. And where is it related? In this one mind, which is the Buddha nature. When that which is called the non-arising and non-passing away, that is the nature of the mind, the suchness, it cannot arise. Even so there is arising, there is passing away. That suchness, it cannot arise, it cannot pass away. And it gives then meaning, the suchness, emptiness gives meaning to the arising and passing away. And this meaning is unthinkable, ungraspable. We can only realize it by direct experience. But unless it is there, there is nothing. It's just nihilism. Then Buddhism is not nihilism. If Buddhism is nihilism, then nobody wants to practice in order to be annihilated, no? So that which arises and is annihilated is based on that which is not arising and not annihilated. On that, in this tradition, that is this one mind. This is a Buddha nature. So that which is called the mind which arises and passes away, and that which not arises and not passes away, when they are combined together, not being one and also not being different, this is a very, very, very important. That what means not one and not different. It is unthinkable. It is ungraspable. According to the Theravada tradition, the object of our bhavanga of our continuity of consciousness is the last active mental process in the past life. According to the Mahayana tradition, the object of alaya cannot be any clear object. Anyway, alaya, same like bhavanga, they are the vipaka chitta, they are the resultant mind. And the resultant mind, the karmic mind, is unspeakable, ungraspable, very difficult to get hold of. We have done millions and millions of karmas. How do we know exactly which karma is governing our present experience? But anyway, it's a resultant mind. Both alaya or bhavanga, they are resultant mind. So Xianzang says that they are the same, only the name is different. Asanga says the same. So this resultant mind, which is our continuity of mind, otherwise we die every moment, we don't die every moment. We are still here, even so our process of thinking has finished. But we are aware, we are in this course of existence, bhavanga, we are in this mind which dwells in the world. But this mind which dwells in the world is an illusion. It has no meaning we can grasp. And that is the deep meaning of Buddhism. That is a deep meaning of one mind. So alaya is a wonderful word, which combines the impermanent and permanent aspect of our mind. But they are, you cannot say that they are the same, but you also cannot say that they are different. Yet they are both the content of all our experience. Otherwise, our experience from this point of view does not make any sense. Because our experience, no matter whether we are dreaming or we are awake or we are in deep sleep, or whether we are realized and always awake, this is always the same mind. There are not two minds. So this is very different from this classifying all kinds of minds, the subconsciousness and I don't know what kind of consciousness is, many different divisions. All are in one mind. It's not a different mind. And this is to be realized. And this one mind is actually our Buddha nature, which is innate to us. Because no matter whether we think, we don't think, whether we dream, we don't dream, we are awake or not awake, we are angry or we are very loving, we are always in the one mind. We cannot leave the one mind. And this one mind is our, in this tradition, is our true nature. So because this in our experience is one mind is dwelling in the world, is literally, very wonderful language, Sanskrit. Li means to stick. We are in trouble because we are sticking to the world like the snow is sticking to the Himalaya mountains. Therefore, Himalaya, we are sticking to our world, worldly mind, which arises and passes away. To the suchness mind, we cannot stick. We can only stick to the mind which arises and passes away. That's why is this experience of non-thinking, the samadhi of non-thinking, so important. Because by non-thinking, we realize the absurd nature of our sticking to differentiations of thinking. So this experience of non-thinking is very important, but it does not mean that non-thinking is any realization, but it is the way to realization. The way to realization is to understand the one mind. And that is our Buddha nature in this tradition. So this in this one mind combines the samsaric mind and the true mind, which in its nature of suchness cannot really arise and cannot really pass away. Therefore, it can, like a mirror, reflect everything. If it has any fixed dwelling, how could it reflect everything? So because you cannot fix it, therefore it can reflect everything. Just like space you cannot fix, therefore you can put anything into it. The fragrance, the shit, the ugly things, the beautiful things, all fit into the space. Similarly, all is reflected in the mirror, and the nature of mirror, it just reflects. It does not say it should be like this or should not be like that. So this is very important. Neither one nor different. Neither one nor different means unthinkable, ungraspable. And that is the nature of our experience. That is the nature of our experience. Its very nature is ungraspable. And because we want to grasp the ungraspable, we are in stress. We cannot relax. And because we cannot relax, we do all kinds of nonsense. And we all have the experience of the nonsense. So what is the practice? Here behind I have in Chinese, Wu Suo Ju Shen Qi Xin. We give rise to the mind without letting it dwell anywhere. This is a practice. It does not mean that the mind which arises is a bad mind, or and the mind which does not arise is a good mind. But the mind which arises is the only mind we can, so to say, trace. We cannot trace the mind which does not arise. And when we trace it as something which is existing, non-existing, which is one, which is different, we are, so to say, shooting above the target. We want to shoot into the target. We have to experience non-thinking. And from the non-thinking, which is of the nature of one mind, of the nature of suchness, of the nature of emptiness, arises all content of our experience. And that mind which is non-thinking, it is neither one, not many. That mind, which is called alaya, that is the content of our experience in the world, has two, we can translate I, Shyo, Urjung, I, it has two objects or two aspects. Both meanings are there, or two meanings. The Chinese is a very abstract language, many meanings explained by the same character. So it has two aspects, it has two objects, it has two meanings. And both meanings, both aspects can contain all the phenomena of our experience, all the dharmas. And it can also give rise to all the dharmas. We have seen that this everything arises from this one mind. Now, which are the two aspects or two objects and two meanings of this one mind? They are the body aspect, the awakened aspect, and the non-awakened aspect. So awakening in this deep experience of dependent realization has no meaning. It can only have meaning in relation to the non-awakening. So the awakened mind has meaning only when it is related to the non-awakening, because you cannot have something by itself. You can only have something, this is essence of Buddhism, in compare to the other. And the self and the other, you cannot say that it exists. You cannot also say that it does not exist. And this is the unthinkable nature of the dependent origination. Ungraspable nature of the dependent origination. This ungraspable nature of the dependent origination actually gives the meaning to that which you cannot catch, which is our existence. So, so to say, even if we're not aware, we are always dwelling in the body aspect, awareness aspect of consciousness, and the no body aspect, no awareness aspect of the consciousness. The two give us meaning to the alaya. Alaya is a meaning of our experience, which is through the impermanent mind as related to that which is the from which the impermanent mind to which it must be related, otherwise it's nihilism. And we don't practice in order to experience annihilation. We practice in order to experience that which is beyond arising and annihilation. And that is the nature of the mind. So it continues. That which is called the body aspect, the body object, the body meaning of the mind, that is called the essence of the mind without thinking. Remember, this thinking, I translate, this translates nian. Nian in Chinese means thinking, but it also means memory. When we start thinking, we recollect some image, right? If we don't recollect some image, what can we think about? So this is a very great advantage of the Chinese, especially classical Chinese. It is very abstract and it has many meanings together. So when we think, we recollect. This is precisely what the Platon school or the Socrates and Plotin and so on, the European mystics believe. The thinking is our memory, function of our memory. And it has to do with perception. When we perceive an image. That's why in Chinese you have the tree, the eye, and the heart below it. So it's always perception of an image. Eye sees the tree, and the heart below it is perception. Very wonderful language, Chinese. So we perceive when we give rise in the mind to the image. And when we are confronted with the realization aspect of our mind, with the oneness of our mind, we are confronted with the aspect of the mind whose essence does not have any memory or does not have any thinking, free of memory, free of thinking. That is the enlightened aspect of alaya. And alaya is the whole of our experience. As long as we dwell in this world, when we attain the wisdom of the great mirror, then the alaya becomes just wisdom, without wisdom of reflecting, without holding to anything. The Buddha has the wisdom of transforming alaya into the universal mirror. universe and mirror does not need any attention, does not mean any vitarka vichara, any applied attention, sustained attention. It just reflects things as they are. And this is connected to the enlightened aspect of the alaya, enlightened aspect of our experience, of the mind which dwells in the world. This enlightened aspect of the mind, or enlightened aspect of the alaya, enlightened aspect of our experience, it is just like a space, like empty space. Or literally like the element of the empty space. It equals to the element of the empty space. So the great mirror and this empty space pervades everything. This enlightened aspect of the alaya pervades everything. Because suchness pervades everything. The Buddha nature pervades everything. When we do not think, we are connected with everything. The alienation from everything only starts when we identify with the thinking. So we identify with the dream. But when we wake up from the dream, we are still in the same mind. We cannot leave the mind. So this enlightened aspect of alaya, enlightened aspect of our experience, is the Dharma Dhatu. This Dharma Dhatu, the element of the Dharma, it has only one characteristic. Yixiang, emptiness. So it connects everything. Emptiness is suchness. Emptiness is the truth of our experience, the truth of our mind. And this precisely, nothing else, is the Dharmakaya, not of our Dharmakaya, because it is obstructed, we have not realized it. It is the Dharmakaya of the Buddha, of the Tathagata, which is always same. Just the great mirror, wisdom mirror, reflecting things as they are, not taking away from them, not adding to them anything, not not coming, not going, not the same, not the different, not the unity, not the variety. Based on this Dharmakaya, which is the true nature of the enlightened aspect of the alaya, we explain that which we call the a very important word in Zen, in Chinese tradition, pen jue. Pen jue, we can, for the lack of better translation, we can say the original enlightenment. The original enlightenment everybody has. Because we all have the Buddha, our mind has the Buddha nature. And the Buddha nature is the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya refers to all the phenomena. The Buddha nature only refers to us, the beings, and especially to us humans, because we are privileged to have this intuition of our true nature, which is unbound. From the very beginning, it is unbound. So therefore, it is called the original body, original awakening, original because it was always there. No one can deprive the alaya of its enlightened aspect, because it happens all in the one mind. There is no other mind. So now it is becoming very interesting, and I hope we are getting more and more into it. Then we are meeting the wonderful dependent origination. Everything is dependent. And he asks, why is it so? Because this original realization aspect, body aspect of our alaya, of our experience, is only in relation to what here is called she jie. She jie, we cannot translate because she means beginning, but actually it means beginning when we realize that we have something in us which does not arise and does not pass away. Then we are, so to say, we are confronted with the original enlightenment, and then the process of enlightenment, which is the beginning of the process of the beginning of enlightenment, and the process of enlightenment is the same. This is a wonderful philosophy. So we always, in a way, remain beginners, because we are always, when we understand our true nature, we are always in the process of realization. That is called shijie. In this process of realization, we are always beginners. We cannot be advanced because it has no time. And we are learning from this aspect of the no time, no sequence, which is the enlightened aspect of our mind. And this is true not only to us, it is true to all beings. But we humans, in a way, we are privileged in the sense that we can understand it by direct intuition. And this process of direct intuition can only be based on that which is called the original enlightenment. And the original enlightenment and the process of enlightening is the same. They are not different. So let us finish here because it is very deep and we have to talk about it again and again and relate it to what comes next and what was before. So we can slowly, slowly appreciate the depths of this treatise and relate it to our own experience. Otherwise, it's just a theory. And to relate it to our experience, we have to think of non-thinking. We have to become familiar with the experience of the non-thinking, in which, in a way, whether we like it or not, we are directly confronted somehow, even so unconsciously, with the process of enlightenment, which starts with understanding that there has to be, in relation to that which is the cessation and annihilation and arising in us, there is that which is related to it, which has no cessation and no annihilation. As that non-cessation and non-annihilation exists only in regard to that which has cessation and annihilation. And these two, they are inseparable in our experience. Therefore, the original enlightenment and the process of becoming enlightened is just the one process. They are not different. So our time is over. It's 4 o'clock on my watch, and we have good. Now we have 2 weeks to become more familiar. You can read again and see if it makes sense what I am teaching, and we have to experience it, and it is the possibly the best presentation in Buddhist literature of this our Buddha nature being the base of our experience, which we do not see clearly, but when we believe in it, so it makes sense. When we don't believe in it, it does not make any sense. That's why awakening of faith in Mahayana. Mahayana is a one mind. We don't experience it yet, but it has to make sense. And this is the best presentation of this how to make sense of that which by its intrinsic nature cannot be grasped. Okay, so let us we leave the questions and answers for next time. If some urgent question, we can discuss it now. If not, then let us just do the transference of merit and continue next time. How about that? Okay? So, 愿以此功德不计一切，我等一众生皆空成佛道。May the merits of this today's practice spread to all beings, so that we attain the perfect realization, the one mind in this scripture, our true mind.